Give me a second. 1 second. Sorry. Shoot. That's right. It said shoot.
Knock, let me in.
Hey, Kat.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
Um, I'm back to being discombobulated,
Oh no,
but I'm in the process of combobulating myself,
good.
and you're helping.
Are you?
Thank you.
Oh, good. I was going to ask, are you asking for help?
I'm always asking for help. Um, let's see. So, what had we planned on talking about? We did mention. What did we mention?
You mentioned, let's talk about ideas, leave not their source.
Ideas don't leave their source, do they?
No, they don't.
Hey, Danny. Our friend Danny the Singamani is here.
Hi, Danny. Wow.
Yeah, it's been a little bit since I've seen
Yeah.
Danny.
hmm
Welcome, my friend. Awesome to see you. And Magnetic North Adventures is here.
Hi, Lee. Hello,
Salma
everybody.
is
I
here.
can't read.
Yep, I'll do my best to keep you abreast of the situation.
Thank you.
But first, let me start off with saying you look lovely today.
Thank you. You do too.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm feeling kind of lovely. I'm actually wearing a
Aw.
spiffy shirt just for you that I don't often wear.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm honored.
It should be. I don't change my shirt just for anyone. I wish I was joking about that, but I'm not. Makes me laugh even more. This is a hard thing to. I'm going to bring it up on my desktop on the course. Ideas leave out their source. This is a hard thing to wrap our minds around. To wrap both our minds around, meaning we are of split mind. That we have the mind that is relating solely to the ego and ego thoughts, and ideas leave not that mind as well, creating the world that we see. And we have the mind of God, the mind of love, the mind of the Holy Spirit, which is really the true and only mind that we have. And ideas leave not that source as well. Most of us have lost identification with our original mind. So every idea that we have is so faint, little glimmer, that even if it doesn't leave its source, it doesn't show, doesn't manifest in this world.
Well, I think you've summed it up nicely. We can end the live now.
Let's go out and get a pizza. But I do have some questions for you.
Okay.
And we'll see if we can tie them into the broader theme that we touched upon. What have been your stumbling blocks in A Course in Miracles?
Taking the time to do it.
Do you think there was some resistance there? What you were getting subconsciously, deep down, what you were getting into?
I just chalk it up to the ego doesn't want me to. It's going to find all sorts of distractions for me.
I agree with that. Danny says, sorry, I haven't been here around. That's okay, Danny. I understand.
It's good to see you, though. Yay.
It is. Hey, Anna. Danny's laughing and says, wrap it up. Hey, Reinhardt's. And if anyone has questions for me, for Kat and I, and it doesn't have to be a question about A Course in Miracles. It certainly can be. It could be a question something that you think you might want a perspective offered through the lens of A Course in Miracles. Like, I often have people, because I've mentioned before, I've gone through um, long and large sections of my life with low-level depression. Has A Course in Miracles helped me with my depression? Or, something along those lines. Thank you, Joe. Joe just upped her membership.
Nice.
Um, or things along that line. To answer that question, is I don't know. I don't know if the course has helped or not. I would say no, it hasn't helped the depression. The depression was fine all on its own. It didn't need any help from anything or anyone. But through practicing the course, I was able to hold things lighter. That I found that depression was still there, but I would no longer relate to it as I suffer from depression, and more that depression happens, and that sometimes I don't feel good, that sometimes I get caught in all kinds of um, emotional down points. And I found even then, I can love myself through it. And that's been the big change. The ability to be laid low, um, but not, and even emotionally not be completely happy with myself, but never lose touch with that base of that unconditional love of which I know I am never separate from.
I did a meditation earlier, primordial sound meditation, which I was taught by a wonderful teacher who offered it
I've
for
heard of
free.
it. That
So before this, I was really nervous, so I meditated, and Jack came up and interrupted me, and I just smiled. And the first thought that came to my mind was, "Of course, I would not punish you for having a bad dream." And it just really all clicked. I felt so much love for him, and I really, it really hit me hard. Of course, I wouldn't. Why am I getting mad at myself for not being the way I think I should be? It's all a bad dream. Why would I be mad at myself?
I like the analogy of, how do you wake up a child who's having a nightmare? Do you grab them by the shoulder and angrily yell in their ear, "Wake up! It's just a dream"? Um, or do you just
The child didn't. The child didn't get me. The dog did.
um, hey, teachers are where we find them, or
Yeah,
teachers are where they find us. And uh, dogs, wonderful teachers.
yeah.
Unlike cats, cats are just assholes.
Sometimes that is the
That
truth.
was very that was very uncourse of miracles of me to say that. And my cat was like, "Hey, hey," but she'll forgive me when she's
Yes.
hungry. She'll forgive me that I can see cat, which is true. We don't get to see you that often.
Yeah, it's very nerve-wracking for me, the time before. Yeah, yeah. So,
To
I think that is perfect timing because, I always thought of the ideas leave not their source in the first sense that I'm still with God, I'm just having a bad dream. I never thought about it in the other sense that I am projecting. Like, my fear is projecting, what will people think about me? What will how will I embarrass myself? And it's not them, it's the thoughts going through my mind that never leave. I can't project it onto somebody else. It's all in me. Does that make sense?
right, would it make you feel any better?
No, because then I
I'll
would feel
pressure
bad.
off of you.
I'm just gonna do it again, those thoughts.
I would do that for you. One thing we could do if you wanted is meditate before we both come on.
Oh, that's an idea. I did meditate, and I also did some when I had a little anxiety during meditation, I did some of the sigh.
Uh-huh.
I did that for a while, and that helped.
It does.
Yeah.
I want to question that Danny had. Isn't it that depression is going how you allow it yourself to go, and you can curb it the way you want? In my case, and in the cases of most people I know who suffered clinical depression and not a depression of um, happenstance, you know, when something happens and it causes us to feel depressed, although there can certainly be. Depression is something that occurs, that it's, for me, there's no rhyme and reason. It appears. And I used to grit my teeth and fight my way through it or try to push it aside, which it would just show up in a different way. Um, it was learning to be at peace with whatever it is that's occurring that brought me that great, great joy. And knowing that it's depression that's passing through. Um, and that I can be at peace even in the presence of something that I may not particularly be enjoying right now. So that would be my thoughts on that, Danny. And you know, as with everything, it could be entirely different for someone else. Hey, CC, and Dan's here. Hey, poor man.
Hi, Dan.
And let's get back to ideas leave not their source. Anything you want to throw in on that topic?
I have no, I nothing that I can put into words because I'm just like I said, I'm just starting to see the other side, like how it can be used in a split mind. So I'm still getting a grasp on that myself.
Right. Um, let's say amazing after over 30 years of um, almost continuously studying the course, how I'll go through long stretches of thinking, I have it, I have it, I have it. Then, oops, I don't have it. In terms of too, is in the right mind, ideas leave not their mind, meaning that we have the reality of perfect love right now. And we're only it's occurred to me that ideas leave, and as I
Mhm.
the difficulties that we all have in life, the political divide, the crime, the warfare, because we have the idea that that's the way the world's supposed to be. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it's continued. And we wish it was different. We wish we could do something about it, but it's just too much. But it's our ideas that are not leaving the source that is literally making the world right now. From our little mess, you know, car trouble, um, you know, hating our jobs, uh, whatever. Just those ideas in our lives. It?
It does. It seems so simple.
Just keep choosing the right mind. And when you don't, choose again. So how come we're not doing it? Or how come we're not doing it as often as we know we could?
I blame the ego again.
I do, as
Choosing
well
the
as
wrong
our
teacher.
yeah, and even when we get to know that we're choosing the wrong teacher, we're so conditioned, and we fall into it so easily.
Mhm.
And of course, that used to bother me, which is just what the ego wants to continue. Because now I get caught up, and I'm such a poor student of A Course in Miracles. I keep choosing the wrong teacher, which means at that very moment I'm choosing the wrong teacher. When I could just shrug my shoulders, and say, you know, the magic word. Oops. That worked for me, by the way, that magic word, until I was probably maybe 9 years old when oops just didn't catch it, didn't work anymore.
Oh, it doesn't work anymore after a certain age because I've been using it at work recently.
Is it working for you? It
I
might
have
work better for you.
no complaints yet, so we're good.
Now, it was easier for me, um, you know, 9 years old, blonde hair, uh, you know, bouncy little kid. And when you're 60 and you're grumpy and you're bald, it
When are you
doesn't work
grumpy?
as well. Um, it's a good question. You know what? I'm actually really not, when I consider it, I'm glad you asked that. I'm really not, everyone has, grumpy periods. But
Yeah,
when I consider it, it's been a really long time since I've been grumpy.
or mad. You Somebody
Right.
asked you that the other day or earlier. When's the last time you were mad? It's
I
nice.
have to think about it. Yeah. Um, Now, of course, I did say there's, some depression occurring right now, but it's not it's not related to the ego, I would say. It's just you know, that biochemical thing that happens to some people and doesn't happen to other people. Um, Meditation helps because I remember a story Deepak uh, Chopra tells of the Maharishi on an airplane that was experiencing really bad turbulence. And this was back in the 1970s when they would serve several alcoholic drinks. Um, and they would double the alcoholic drinks if there was some turbulence going on. And the waitress came by and said, would you like a drink, to everyone in his aisle, and everyone like immediately leaped forward. And she looked at the Maharishi and said, "Sir, how about you?" And he had his eyes closed and he opened up and smiled and said, "I'm making my own." That's the power of meditation. We're making our own feel good hormones, or that's the power of breath work as well. Also, the power of practicing a course. Cece says, "Yogi, I'm spelling it out. Understand, my man." Uh, I tell this to Cece aliens all the time.
I don't
I don't
understand.
understand anything, and he understands that I don't understand. Um, and let's see. North says I keep freezing. I haven't noticed that I'm freezing up.
I've noticed
Do
just
you?
a little bit.
Oh, it's not too bad though.
No, and it doesn't last a real long time. So
Mm.
far so good.
And I'm still grainy.
Oh no.
I don't know. I did everything suggested, except I didn't. I I forget what one person said about updating the app. I think it was Sal, which I just don't know how to do. Might be time finally for a new phone, which I have, but I just
Just like you have the other computer.
I do have the other computer, um, right, right behind me.
Same principles though. That you got to use them because they go out of date.
Um, yeah, you told me that, and you know what? I
You're
would
going to be all
I
right.
would buy I would buy a computer all over again and keep it in the box for another 4 years just to have this conversation with you and make you laugh all over again. Um, I don't know why CC says on Yogi. I don't know why I never set my phone up. I guess because I know I got to talk to someone on the phone,
Mm. Could be the
and
same reason that my refrigerator's empty. I just don't wanna do something.
exactly. And for
Yeah.
me, now to be fair, I've only had the phone for 2 years, and I've had the computer for 4 years. Um, Try in person. In person, that's even worse. That means I gotta go somewhere. Um, let's see. The Rustus say overstand. What do you mean, Adam? Overstand. Um, so where were we?
I don't know, but can you talk a little bit more about the idea that in the split mind, is it because of our guilt that we try to project our thoughts onto others? Like, my problems are due to the crappy people I work with, or the government, or my stupid car. How we're trying to is it we're trying to project our thoughts onto something else, but yet they still there's you can't. They're in your mind or in your where they started. Does that make sense? That's
Um,
why I'm asking for help.
right. Can you say it one more time? Let me see if I can get a different grasp.
So it's the idea that ideas do not leave their source. Thoughts do not leave their source. Yet we try to project stuff going on in our lives on others as
Right.
allowing them to be the cause for our problems.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What do you mean try?
Okay. Right.
Um, because I don't think like we have anything really to do with it. Um, it's a natural projection is like a natural aspect of the ego. The ego projects, and we would have gone. You and I would have gone through much of our life, probably all of our life, without even realizing that we are projecting everything on everyone. It takes us all the way back to the beginning of the course, even the first 10 lessons. The world is an empty template without any inherent meaning in and of itself until we come along and we paint a picture with our thoughts. Um, Everything originating from the mind, everything. That was a big um, aha moment that came late in my course understanding. After I had been studying non duality and had some non dual awakening experiences, um, and reading a bit of quantum physics, which I don't understand. I read it and I nod my head and I think, this makes perfect sense. And then I put it down. I'm like, what did I just read?
Mhm.
I don't remember a single word, but everything is of the mind. It doesn't really exist. You know, it just doesn't exist. Um, every single one of our projections are at their source, which is you and me. But I'm taking no responsibility for it. I'm giving it all to you, Kat. Um,
Thanks.
sure. So does that knowing that does that help? That it's your projections? Do you think?
I've got that. I guess it was just the second tier of ideas leave not their source, the split mind version. I'm still trying to kind of grasp. And I think I've heard some people talking about it and maybe
Right. Right. extension. We are projecting from the ego, or we are extending from the source of love. And that might be the only, I've mentioned this before, that might be the choice we actually have. Extend ourselves as love, or to project from the ego. And since projection and the ego are completely false, we don't even have that choice. And extending ourselves as love isn't a choice at all. It's our natural. A river doesn't have an extension, doesn't have a choice in flowing. There might become, some things might impede the flow, but the river itself always seeks to flow. It's the nature. There's no free will in a river saying, this is what I do. Not that I want to get involved in a conversation of free will and no free will, which everyone has, different thoughts on.
Right.
But I find it very relieving to know that if I look around and I see my projections, to know there's an alternative that is completely natural, and allow it to happen. The projections might still be there because it's an ingrained behavior on our part to project. But the other day with Miss Flipper, we were talking about those, seeing those little flickers of light beneath the material aspect of the world. We see the immaterial light peeking through. And the more we relax, the more we see that, yes, the projections are happening, but it doesn't have the impact that they used to have. And I find that very helpful now because, I know that you are retired from the political world, and I'm semi-retired. I find myself still occasionally getting allow myself to get dragged back in, but I get to relax just a bit and know that love is still extending itself, even with all of this happening, even with, you know, look around the world and I see so much pain, I see so much suffering. And I know a lot of people in certain religious thought, spiritual thought will say, well, it's all part of God's plan. And it gives me even greater faith to say, nope, it isn't part of God's plan. Suffering isn't part of God's plan. Waking up is part of God's plan. And that I can do that anytime I cease to put my projections out into the world, or I forgive the projections for being there. And the more I do, the more I keep returning to source. It was a really long answer to your question, by the way.
Yeah. Now your face was frozen, but you were still talking. It was
Oh.
very interesting.
I'm gonna take my supplement real quick. Adam says, Alan Watts boxed the water. Hey, Buddha's here. Nature Guy is here. Thumbelina is here.
Hi, Alina.
And Sniper's here. Let me go through really quick and see if anyone had some questions. Logs was here. He's getting ready to go to sleep. So, again, if anyone has questions about the course or about anything and you want a course perspective, are you open for more questions on the quantum hypnosis healing?
Sure.
And Of course, I'm always happy to talk about yoga and meditation and breath work. And then in a little bit, if you want, um, you and I can do another forgiveness meditation.
Sure.
Sue is here, just one Sue. Michael's here. Hey, Michael. Do you find any uh, split in your practice of the um, quantum healing? Did I ask you this before? And A Course in Miracles?
I don't know if you asked me before, but it is something that I am going through right now, questioning.
Does it help to know that the Course talks about magic
No, it
and
does.
that it's okay to use magic for the right purpose,
Mhm.
as long as you know
I
that you're using. Go ahead.
I think what I'm struggling with is I see so many people using it for the wrong purpose, and I just don't know how I feel about everything, you know?
Right.
Because people do identify with so strongly, they want to identify with so strongly with something that they're no longer that's not them, that's not where they're focused, but they kinda get stuck in that.
I have.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep coming back to the statement of that I no longer want to chase shiny objects. Um, but I still like shiny objects. I just don't want to chase them. I want to enjoy them and not chase them. I'm going to go slightly off topic
Sure.
because CC has been chat, and he says I must go, so I'll get clear. Ask her out, Yogi. Don't be foolish. Kat, you want to get some coffee with me?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Next day off.
I would fly down and have a cup of coffee with you.
Wow. Or we
Um,
could just, do it like this for now.
we could, but I would fly down and have coffee with you. Um, I would say I would fly down. We could go out to a vegan restaurant, but the question is, does Tennessee have a vegan restaurant?
Maybe. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We have. Yeah. I'm sure.
Now, does Tennessee uh, classify vegan differently than me? Is like vegan chicken?
I
um,
don't think so.
you don't think so?
I
Okay,
think
just
there's a
checking.
few special areas where that's a big thing.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
You know, Ash, I think I mentioned this to you when you went to Asheville. Asheville is considered the vegan capital of the Southeast.
I
So
believe it.
I'll fly down to I'll fly down to Asheville. Uh,
You have fun there
you have no,
because I'm not going back.
you're not going back. You didn't care for it? No.
No. Mm-mm.
Huh.
Maybe if I was with somebody else, but it just was too bit. It was a holiday weekend too, so maybe that was it. It was too busy.
That could be it.
Yeah.
That was not how I expected my date proposal to go. You have fun there. It's a good thing I'm practicing A Course in Miracles. Let's see. Adam says, "Oh, yeah, Adam's in
Yes.
right."
Hmm.
Um, there's a guest house in Lynchburg. You can bunk. How far are you from Lynchburg?
Pretty far.
Pretty far.
Yeah. I think
Hmm.
it's much more west.
Cece says it worked. She said yes, and you the man, Yogi. It was kind of a tentative. It was kind of a tentative yes. It was a, you have fun there, yes. But hey, I'll take what I I'll take what I can get. Um, let's see. Shirley says I just told Rich to come and visit. If he gets a chance, I'll come back after rosary time. Thank you, Shirley. Hey, traditional Christianity,
Hmm.
rosary. Um, has your uh, relationship with Jesus through the course, has it given you any like desire to revisit any aspects of traditional Christianity,
No.
like an occasional church visit, or
Oh, no. No, but I do appreciate sections verses of the Bible, generally Jesus's word. I do appreciate that more now. I'm opening up a little bit to peek at the Bible.
right? Sure. I use St. Paul's letters to the Corinthians
Mhm.
quite often because it's just a beautiful description of love. And of course, there's many others, and there's many others in the Bible as well. But just a description. It's not the actuality of love, which can't be told or even described. You know, I feel bad that I asked you out in public because there might have been um, like a large percentage of the YouTube population that come here who've been waiting to ask you out themselves, and now like,
Mm,
damn, Yogi beat me.
yes.
So doesn't mean that others can't step up as well, though, if they want. Um, let's see. I do want to throw it out there that so far, except for Marlon, no one's ever asked me on a YouTube before.
Yeah, Marlin. Yeah,
Um, I think
cracks
Marlon.
me up.
I think he would ask us both out. Actually, Adam says, "A Course in Miracles influences me to look into Gnostic Gospels, the Presbyterians, and all kinds of stuff." Have you ever read any of the Gnostic Gospels?
No.
Very interesting, and they hold that the world is an illusion as well, but they have a very strong distinction and dichotomy of um, heaven and hell that's not present in A Course in Miracles. I love
Interesting.
the I love the simplicity of A Course in Miracles.
Mhm. Yeah.
That you know, I talk quite a bit about yoga and Buddhism, the Eightfold Path of Yoga, or the eight branches of yoga, Eightfold Path of Buddhism, and how practicing them sense of peace, but much easier to just practice forgiveness. Including meditation and breath work. It's a great practice, but practicing forgiveness and kindness is my life, natural expression of my life. Um, and again, it just makes everything so much easier. Having a bad day, forgive yourself for having the day that you're having. Be kind to yourself. Forgive others for being part of that day. Be kind to others and proceed through life. From it's, I love that. Lee just threw me a squirrel.
Oh, no.
Uh, thank you so much, my friend.
Did you catch it?
I did catch it. It's a super chat, and the comment is throwing you a squirrel. um, yes, don't worry, Kat. If there's one thing that I want you to know about me, she popped out, guys, but I have faith that Kat will come back up. This is the one thing I want Kat to always know for sure about me. If there's ever a falling, you're back. So I was about to say, this is what I want you to always know about me. If there is ever the case of a falling squirrel or a thrown squirrel, I have a vegan vow that I will catch every single one.
Awesome. So glad to hear that.
Um, and you know what? I will include bunny rabbits and pretty much anything else that might be falling or being thrown. Uh, Marlon says, I would sure, and I used to make vegan pancakes regularly since my mom is allergic to eggs and milk and wheat, so they're also gluten free.
Wow.
Um, the big test is if I would ask Marlon if he would meet me in Nashville to see what he says. That's the big test. We'll see. Where are we? I love hearing the bird sounds, by the way.
Yeah.
Very peaceful. So what do you think with that? Getting back to the split between your other practices, and is it causing you concern, or is it just you're curious? You're
Just I guess I'm just observing that I am starting to move away from some more of the magical things in my thinking and what I desire.
right. Probably just a natural process of your deepening commitment to the course and practicing forgiveness. That again, all of it is interesting, but I love how the course says, and Gerald Jampolsky in his book "Love Is Letting Go of Fear" really states it nicely. Choose peace as your one outcome in every single peace of mind in every single situation. Um, I don't mind talking about rebirth or reincarnation or some of the esoteric practices of yoga, but ultimately, moment by moment by moment, does it bring me peace of mind? And if it doesn't, then it's an interest, it's a fascination, but it's not um, something that I want to devote too much energy to. You
Mhm.
know, I don't want to. I don't want to go down specific avenues that don't ultimately lead me peace of mind in the present moment. That when I forgive, I have great peace of mind right now, not eventually. Now, that doesn't mean it always sticks 100%. Maybe um, I need to return to it and keep forgiving, which is fine. Forgive as long as I have something to forgive. But um, anything else, um, meditation, breath work, make it possible for me to um, be calm and choose forgiveness. So those are tools for forgiveness. Those are tools for choosing peace. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so do you think some of your other practices might be tools to help you um, be more at ease in choosing to forgive and in choosing peace?
I think that's what I'm in the process of discerning.
Um, I'd be interested to see how it unfolds for you.
Mhm. Thanks. So,
And share as you feel called to, if you think it's something that others might benefit from, and if you feel that it's something that you want to share. Um, and sometimes I ask you pretty, what might seem like a big question uh, that can be difficult to answer. You and I have we've talked about some big subjects because when we talk forgiveness, um, both you and I have had full lives, which means we got plenty of stuff um, that we've needed to forgive.
mhm.
Uh, Make sure just put up a hand and say not yet or not this or whatever. Um, so that we can both respect whatever it is. I try to be pretty open with everything, um, but only because I think that um, I think a lot of times, if you even if you call yourself just a yogi, people might think you have it together, which is, you know, pretty far from the actual uh, truth. And I'm very fortunate that, that I do get to forgive everything, everything, whatever appears, all the messes that I think that I've forgiven and left behind, and they might resurface as they have recently with some things that I thought, uh, well, why now? I thought this was done. I thought I was
Mhm.
healed. But sometimes, things are very deeper than we suspect, and they come up when they come up. No rhyme, no reason. And instead of getting bent out of shape of, wow, I'm a advanced student. No, you just deal with it. You deal with life as life happens. Fortunately, we know how to do it.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm very fortunate that I have people that I walk the path with, you. Um, and I would feel very comfortable saying, hey, Kat, uh, can you help me work through an issue? So, thanks for being there.
Oh, you're welcome.
Our friend Bob is here, and if it is possible,
Hi, Bob. So was
nice
there
to see you,
anything
Bob.
that we still needed to go over as far as ideas leave not their source that we didn't hit, do you think?
Probably. Hey, Susanna. Let me see. Does anyone have any questions on ideas leave out their source? Uh, it is a tough. What do you think? Okay, what's
I use it interchangeably with our thoughts.
agreed? Um, I use it quite a bit also with um, who and what we are. We are an idea in the mind of God right now, which means we've never left our source, which is God, and that brings me again great, great comfort.
Okay, it all just came to me. The ego thought system is completely the opposite of ideas never leave their source. It is we can project our ideas onto somebody else. I think that was the
Wow,
point I was looking for.
I think that's a pretty awesome point. Um, that ties in with um, something we talked about on Monday, which is uh, we believe that we can uh, create ourselves. That we are
Mm,
self-created. Um, the one thing that we actually cannot do, that we are um, empowered with every creative aspect of the source itself, except for one, we can never be our own creators. And of course, we thought, what would it be like if we could? And then we forgot to laugh at that idea. So that was brilliant, Kat.
thank you. I'm so glad I figured it all out again.
Um, we should probably have that down in writing, so we don't have to figure it out again. We can just say, "Oh yeah, I wrote this down." Nice. Um, so ideas leave out their source, and the ego really, really, really wants them to. It's to shove them away, especially uh, what you were touching upon earlier, the bad stuff, the stuff that we're projecting onto other people, the all the things we look at people and we say, I don't like this and I don't like that. If you were only better, if you were only whatever, all of our projections that the ego says, leave, be on this person.
Mm.
Huh. Well, that really sucks for those people. um, because think how much we've punished others
Hmm.
for things that are all uh, based upon our own thoughts.
Right.
Sort of makes you want to go through life a little bit and say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Didn't know
I
I
love
was,
you.
didn't know, I love you. I didn't know I was doing this to you. Um, it also makes us want to look in the mirror and say, I'm sorry.
Mm.
And then sometimes when we get to know this, the secret of projection, guilt. What have I done? Which, of course, is just another projection.
Hmm.
Um, Forgiveness is a lifelong, lifetime practice of forgiving, again, everything. You triggered some things with me here, Kat,
Oh no.
but in a good way, though, because I'm just a whole bunch of thoughts on all those layers and levels of projection,
Yeah.
projection upon projection upon projection. Um, Carl Jung talks about the shadow effect, which is our projection. All the stuff that we hate um, is thrown out upon others, as well, and not often talked about. All the great qualities that we have, our inability to own them, and we project it upon heroes,
That's
upon
interesting.
sports stars, um, stars, regular people
Wonder
that we
Woman.
just Wonder Woman. Um, but all of those qualities, archetypes, it's
Mm.
and not just belong to us; it is us. And if we could only own our greatness as much as we own all the lousy stuff that we believe about ourselves, how much different would that make?
We wouldn't be having this
Um,
discussion. It would just
no,
be a
we would
known.
not. Um, so maybe we should just remind ourselves. Uh, Toy Pup says, I'm going to let you feel this one. Would that be the ego protecting us?
No. No, the ego doesn't want to protect you. It just wants to keep you here. It wants to keep itself here.
Yeah. What was it you said our last discussion uh, about the ego? Wants to,
Oh, it'd rather see us dead than for us to wake up to who we truly are.
yeah, that, uh, man, when you said that last week, it was literally like a brick hitting me in the forehead.
It's in the
Um,
book.
I know, but sometimes hearing it from someone, you know what I mean? Uh, Hearing it out loud from someone, um, especially when it's like unexpected, the way
Mm.
uh, sweet, good-natured cat, um, and you're, oh no, the ego would rather see you dead. It was like my mouth literally dropped open. It was like, wow. Um, I just I hadn't heard it that way in that aspect before. Toy Pup says it's funny how we hurt each other based upon our own thoughts. I'm going to write that down in my journal. I think it's really important. It is very important. Um, I missed some of your conversations, Cece. Oh, Cece says, "Step up, cat." Um, It's now on Cat. Step up.
Tell CC to mind his own business.
Mind your business, CC. Sniper says the oversoul protects us.
We don't need. Never mind. Really, we don't need protecting. I think that's what you were saying. When we realize who we are and how much power we truly have, we don't need protecting.
What would love ever protect itself from?
Right.
And if only love is real. So, of course, when we're caught up in the illusory world, when we're caught up in illusion, we need all kinds of protection. We need all kinds of magic. But the more you the more you put your big toe back into the bathtub of the source. How's that for a metaphor? The better the water feels. And the more you just want to fully submerge into the sub and just be who you are. Be love. Be that
you want to float in it. You want to be carried by it.
Yep. And then eventually, you're just it.
Yeah.
There's no tub. There's no water. There's no you. There's just love. So yeah, I think I'm glad that you decided to dive into that. I know you hesitated for just a second, but once again, you summed it up perfectly.
Good.
Beautiful. See, it's a connection between source and our highest self, the love. So I guess in terms of Course in Miracles, we might equate the Oversoul with the Holy Spirit if we wanted to. That I've heard the description before that we need that intimacy because we've fallen so far into our own belief system that it's too big of a leap to jump right back into the arms of God, go right back to the one mind of God. So we rely on the Holy Spirit as being the connection that we need to gently guide us back. No? Yes.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about the Holy Spirit earlier, about how Jesus or God, somebody says they send the Holy Spirit as our helper. And
Right.
it was just, I don't remember where else I was going with it, but it was going through my mind earlier.
I had read, hey Jeff, that I'm trying to think where I read it. Jesus is the perfect demonstration of someone who fully identified as the Holy Spirit. And Jesus offers himself as our guide back. The more we turn to Jesus, and Jesus says, basically, hey, don't ask me, ask the Holy Spirit. He's right there. And Jesus guides us back. Jesus says, hey, make the right decision. And the right decision is always the right mind. There's no, I love the crystal clarity. Make the right decision. And if you don't make the right decision, then make the right decision now. And if you don't make the right decision now, then make it now. Because all we have is the present moment. And there's no one's keeping count. No one's has a notebook besides the notebook that you have there, and mine. But we're not keeping score. I don't have a notebook that says, I messed up this time and this time and this time and this time. We have this moment. And it's always this moment. It's never anywhere else. And this is the moment that we can choose love. We're choosing love. I know we're sort of talking about ideas leaving out their source, but I do want to bring in forgiveness again, because I think it's the largest misunderstanding in the entirety of the course. Because we're always asked, how can you forgive this? And again, we're not talking about forgiveness as a bargaining tool. It's not something that we ourselves give to anyone or anything else. Uh, it's our decision of how we were going to look at any given perceived sin or error that has occurred. Do you have something a little more
No.
succinct? A little more succinct, maybe? Um, I mean, what was your idea of forgiveness before the course?
Yeah, that if somebody did something to me, it was a gift that I could give to them when I decided to be such a kind person, you know? It was like you said, a bargaining tool or uh, a weapon.
Definitely a weapon. And were there times when you just decided, nope, not
Uh,
going to forgive you?
mhm. Yeah.
And you mentioned before things for yourself when you decided to yourself, I won't forgive myself.
Mhm.
Um, when you first read about the forgiveness is offered by a course, um, difficult for you, or was it a sense of relief that maybe I can do this?
I think I think my understanding was very minimal. I feel like I do a lot of things half, so I just kind of felt like I skimmed the lessons, and this time I'm kind of taking a little more time with them. So I think I just didn't understand it at all, even though I was going through the book.
Right. Um, did you ever have like a couple aha moments where even though you might have been skimming, where it just was like, okay, I get this. Maybe only on a superficial level right now, but there's something here that I need to know.
Yes. Sure.
Sometimes I think those are enough
Mhm.
because it keeps us going, gives us a reason to dive back into the book and keep studying. Eventually, here's another thing I love about the course is at the end it says um, you don't need the course
Right.
until you need it as long as you need it. But basically, it gives you all the tools. Um, maybe you want to dive back in for inspiration. Maybe you want to dive back in as a refresher. Entirely up to you. But the key is when you know the power of forgiveness, um, you don't want to do anything else. I'm going to
Mm.
bring up something real quick, and then let's do a little meditation, and we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
I'm going to read probably my all-time favorite lesson. I say that probably because tomorrow I might have another all-time favorite lesson, but I
That
do always
happens.
return to this. It does. Lesson 122. Forgiveness offers everything I want. I want to offer a little preface here, of course, because I'm not just going to read it and let it go. And I mentioned before that practice for a very long time, thinking that way back reading Paramahansa Yogananda's book on autobiography of a yogi, and he had this wonderful description of awakening, enlightenment. The ego dropped away, and he knew himself as everything particle in existence, as well as the space between the particles, and it was all shimmering and light. And that through the practice of Kriya Yoga, you too could have that. And I signed up for the lessons and I practiced them. And then the next shiny thing came along, and I chased after that. All of it promised enlightenment, and awakening. I had some wonderful experiences, but this is what, when I read this, I thought, okay, I didn't want any of that stuff. This is what I want. What could you want forgiveness cannot give? Do you want peace? Forgiveness offers it. Do you want happiness, a quiet mind, a certainty of purpose, and a sense of worth and beauty that transcends the world? Do you want care and safety and the warmth of shore protection always? Do you want the quietness that cannot be disturbed, the gentleness that never can be hurt, a deep, abiding comfort and a rest so perfect it can never be upset? All this forgiveness offers you and more. It sparkles on your eyes as you awake and gives you joy with which to meet the day. It soothes your forehead while you sleep and rests upon your eyelids, so you see no dreams of fear and evil and malice and attack. And when you wake again, it offers you another day of happiness and peace. All this forgiveness offers you and more. Forgiveness lets the veil be lifted up that hides the face of Christ from those who look with unforgiving eyes upon the world. It lets you recognize the Son of God and clears your memory of all dead thoughts, so that remembrance of your Father can arise across the threshold of the mind. What would you want forgiveness cannot give? What gifts but those are worthy to be sought? What fancy value, trivial effects, or transient promise, never to be kept, can hold more hope than what forgiveness brings? It goes on, but the lesson at the end is forgiveness offers everything I want. Today I have accepted this as true. Today I have received the gift of God, the gifts of God. I've read that probably 1,000 times, and it nearly brings me to tears every single time
Hmm.
because I want nothing more than that. And every time I forgive, I'm on. I'm not just on the threshold of that. I am that. When I forgive, I am that. And again, maybe I have to forgive the same thing again tomorrow. I don't care. I don't care. I'll forgive it. If it comes up, I'll forgive it. And when I forgive it, in that moment, I am at peace. In that moment, I am back in the arms of God. I am forgiven. In that moment, all the crap that I put myself through, I'm forgiven.
Hmm.
I want that more than anything. And I want someone else to have that as well. I want to let someone off the hook and metaphorically put my arms around them and say, it's okay. You're already forgiven. So, Kat, if you would do me the great honor of closing your eyes and just tune into your breath, wherever you find it, and however it is coming, and however it is leaving, simply breathing, relaxed. Bring a light attention to the breath entering the nose, leaving the nose. Notice the breath and notice your thoughts. Whatever thought that you have is always followed by a space. No thought. And in no thought, there's no need for forgiveness. Because anything that needs to be forgiven is simply a thought. Simply a thought. Thoughts in and of themselves having no reality. The reality is that no space, that nothingness between thoughts. Everything's forgiven. Only love is real. Anything that can be forgiven isn't real. We're going to take one breath in through the nose, and then we're going to take a sip through the nose. We're going to exhale with one big sigh through the mouth. Whenever you're ready, Kat, breathe in through the nose. Sip. Exhale with a sigh, letting everything go. And say to yourself, forgiveness offers everything I want. Today I have accepted this as true. Today I have received the gifts of God. And all is forgiven. All is forgiven. All is forgiven. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank
Thank you,
you.
Kat. Sure. I love doing this with you.
Mhm.
Um, and I hope reading that lesson 122 really sums up what you and I talked about, uh, the magic things, the rabbit holes, the shiny things. They're all fine. They're all good. A lot of it's fun. But in the end, when you have that unshakable piece of forgiveness, even for a moment, that's what counts. Being kind. So, all right, let's wrap it up. Kat, I love you.
I love you too. I love you guys. Thank you.
All right, let's dive in here, guys. Hey, L Dog. L Dog says that's the truest thing I've ever heard. Epic, bro. L Dog, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for being here. Jacob, thanks for being here, Jacob. Shirley, hello, my friend. How was the rosary session? Anna says, thank you so much, Yogi and Kat. Thank you, Anna. Adam says, like how miracles are described in A Course in Miracles. Me too. Shift. Just a shift. Change of perception. Bye, Lee. Thanks for coming in, hanging out with us. All right, guys. That was it for Thursday. Course in Miracles with Kat and the other guy. Jacob says, hey, Anna's sister. Shirley says, really good. Thank you. I got a virtual hug that I needed. It is so needed and appreciated. I'm happy for that, Shirley. You deserve the virtual hugs. If ever, Shirley, if ever need, I always have a big hug for you. Always. We get some love from Kat. Thank you, Kat. Tim says, Shirley. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap things up. I'm going to go to bed. I keep promising myself an early night. I never get it. Something comes up. I get into a really deep conversation with my cats. You know, politics, stuff like that. It's a divided household. The cats vote one way, I vote another. Different views. But in the end, we forgive each other. Jacob says, good night, brother Mr. Yogi. Thank you, Jacob. Kat says, sweet dreams, Yogi. Go, run, go. Shirley says, I think you should close now while your heart and mind are in a good place. It's an excellent suggestion, and they are in a good place. I appreciate you guys for leading me here. I appreciate my teacher, Kat, for leading me here. Love you guys.